Hello everybody. If you have clicked on this video, you'll obviously run into issues with a make.com scenario where you're trying to attach Gmail or Google Calendar or Google Drive, and it's come up with an error saying you're missing a redirect URI mismatch, or you have restricted scopes or insufficient scopes, or you need an Autho2 credential setup. So this video is going to do a quick run through of how to do that in Google Console. So I hope you find this valuable, and I will also attach I'll drop the URI HTTP links into the comments of this video so that you can copy them. So I hope you find it helpful, and let's get into it. So basically, when you come into one of these errors in make.com, you basically need to go to Cloud Console. So you can get there either via, I'll just click on this link here, but generally you can go straight into your google.com or Bing or whatever, type in Google Console, and it should be one of the first one it brings up. So it should be https://console.cloud google.com welcome new in the top browser bar. So what you need to know is I already have an account set up. If you don't, you can start free over here by clicking on this blue button. But because I already have two set up, I'm going to go into, well, actually I might just stay in the one I'm in because I don't have any projects in that, so it's probably a good one to start in. So once you're logged in, this will probably be your home page. You need to select a new project. You'll see I've currently got some in there. So once you're in here, you go over here and you select new project again. Over here, you name your project. So I'm going to call this Google Error Test. Google Error Test, just so I know what it is. You don't need to select an organization at this point, and then you just click create. So over here you will see it is creating this particular project for you. Now, once you've got it, you select that project, and you'll see up here it's brought up that particular project name, Google Error Test. Now what you want to go into is API Services over here on the left. You want to go down to Library. Click on that. Now in here, in the search button, here's where you type in Gmail, and you'll see Gmail API. That is the one you would select for your Gmail API. I'm going to go back for a minute. If you want Google Calendar, same thing, Google Calendar. There's your API for that. And we'll also show Google Drive API. So this is where you come in to pick up the API connection for any of these. So I'm going to go for Gmail for this example. So you then select that API, and then over here you click Enable. wait for it to do its thing. Okay, now before I go on to the next point, I just want to point out up here, it says up here, start your free trial with $300 in credit. Don't worry, you won't be charged if you run out of credits. Now, that $300 in credit is not something that you have to pay up front. That is something that they're gifting you $300 in credit. So if you see that, don't think that it means that you're going to have to be giving over your credit card details for $300. Just wanted to point that out. Okay, so we have enabled our Gmail API, or your Google Calendar API, or your Google Drive API at this point. Now we need to configure the OAuth consent screen. So we come over to here on the left, enter, get started, your app name. Now for me, because I'm usually doing make scenarios, I just put in make. Your support email should be your email. Enter your email, you select next. Audience, this is external because it's going to be an external application coming into the Gmail to extract information or push data in. So next, contact information, this is your email again. And if you're doing this for a client and you're doing this for their Gmail setup, this would be under their account. So they would need to give you their account password and address to get in to do this. And if you are doing it for a client, it may be that they still want you to be the contact information for this. So just check with them before you set it up. Next, and then you just say you agree to their API services, user data policy. You're welcome to read that if you want to. And then we hit continue, and then we select create. Right, now you'll see you haven't configured any OAuth clients for this project yet. So now we click on create OAuth client. Sometimes you have to click it twice and close the top box. Application type. We are doing a web application. The name, again, I call it make.com. The domains and the URIs you add below will be automatically added to your OAuth consent screen. You can ignore the JavaScript origins, but here, authorize redirect URIs. Here's where you have to add 9 URIs. There may be people out there who do not add these URIs, but I find adding them, especially the 9th one, has saved me a lot of headaches. So I will drop these into the comment, but it is a case of picking up and pasting them in, and it's one at a time, unfortunately. So I might stop this video and then come back to it once I've loaded them all in. Okay, so you can see now that I've got the whole 9 there that I need. As I said, I will drop these into the comments below the video so you can see that and copy them. With our URIs here, you'll see they're the make.com authorizations you need, but also the Integramat ones, which is a layer of make.com that also need to be authorized in here. So once you've done that, we've got our web application up here, we've named our app there, you've added the 9 URIs, you can hit create. Before I say this, just also pay attention to this. Note it may take 5 minutes to a few hours for settings to take effect. So if you find you've set up your Google console and you think you've done it right and it still doesn't work straight away, be patient. It may be something you have to come back to in a few hours or possibly the next day. Create that. Right, so you'll see over here that your OAuth client has been created, and that's your client ID key, which we can come back to later anyway, but it's also got a download JSON file if you want it. So we're going to click OK here. And now we can click on our created Autho2 client ID. And over here, you will find that these are the things that you're going to need to drop into your make.com scenario for when you go to connect your Google Drive or calendar or app. When you click down on that grey box at the bottom of that make.com module for I think it's advanced settings, it's going to ask you for a client ID and the secret key. These are the things you need. You find that under that make.com client ID. So generally what I will do is create a new Word doc and just drop in Gmail ID, Gmail secrets, and just paste them in there for later reference. There's a copy one there for that one, which is good. Yeah, and then just save that as your, wherever you want to save it. Gmail. Name that whatever you want, and then that's there for your later use when you get back into your module. Okay, so that's that part of it. So now what we want to do is go into data access, whatever you want to say, over here on the left. And in here, you will find your add or remove scopes. So if you're getting stuff like an error like you have restricted scopes or insufficient scopes, this is where we fix that problem. So we click on add or remove scopes. Up here, next to the filter, we can do a search. Because I've done Gmail, I can punch in Gmail, click on Gmail API, and it will bring up all the scopes I need for that. So just to show you, you can also do that for Google Calendar. You should be able to do that for Google Calendar. Might be because I've not selected that to enable it. Yeah, sorry. Google Calendar will come up if you've actually selected that API and enabled it, but because we've only done Gmail for this example, it'll only bring up the Gmail ones. So once you've selected that in the filter, you then select all rows and select all rows over here, and then you click update down the bottom, and then it automatically populates all your non-sensitive scopes, your sensitive scopes, your restricted scopes. So you then hit save. Close that. Then we go into verification center. You don't need to verify it at this stage. So let's go back to overview. There's a couple more things we have to do before we can get out of this. Branding. You've got make. You've got your domain page. We don't want to add a domain. These are your authorized domains, so that's where we were adding the authorized URIs. So you've got make.com and Integramat have automatically populated in here. Developer contact information should be your email address. Don't need app. User support email is there. Audience. In here, we want to add, very important that you do this, you need to add yourself as a test user. So just drop your email in there and save that. You need at least one test user to be able to get back into this. You actually have to hit save twice for this to register for some weird reason. So now you can see I've been added down there. And at this point, because we're still in testing, we don't necessarily want to publish the app. So after you've done all of that, you can now go into your, trying to think while I'm doing things. You can now just go back into your make.com scenario now and copy and paste those credentials that you've just set up from Google, and that will work. So that is the video for today. That is Google Console. Once you sort of know where to go in it and follow it in a streamed manner, and you know your URIs and how to find the scopes, it's fairly straightforward. But I do understand the first time you come in here, when you get an error, it's a bit overwhelming and frustrating. So I hope this video helps those of you who've run into those errors. Thanks for watching.